G'day campers, Justin the Wayward Aussie. Today, I'm here at 230's head office and we're gonna fit an awning to this 5th gen 4Runner. There's 4 different types of awning you could fit to this 4Runner: a 90 degree, a 180 degree, a 270 degree 5-arm, and a 270 degree 6-arm. We've selected a 270 degree 5-arm because we already know that it's gonna work best with the rear hatch that's got that little wind spoiler at the back, because it doesn't get fouled on the door. I'm going to show you in the whiteboard which one looks like what and why we selected the 270 5-arm. Then we're going to put it on and hopefully you'll get to see exactly why we think this is a good choice for this rig with a Prinsu rack on it. So here's our little drawing of our 4Runner. The arrow means that this is the direction forward. So that means that is going to be the left side of the car. If we decide to put a 90 degree awning on, it's going to sit like that, or something along those lines. If we put a 180 degree awning on, it's going to work like that. So a little bit more coverage. This is somewhere between 78 inches to 90 inches. This is about 20 feet. This one is a 270 degree 5-arm awning. And then lastly, that's a 270 degree 6-arm awning. So you can see each one has a little bit difference in the amount of space that it's going to cover, and it's going to increase the coverage area. The catch for this particular 4Runner is the rear door, which is a hatch style, is going to get caught. It's going to hit that right about there. That means you're going to have contact with the rear hatch or your little wing on this arm. So by using the 5-arm, that is eliminated because it doesn't have an arm that comes across. You lose a little bit of coverage, but we're only talking about a few square feet. So let's have a look at how this thing goes together, and you'll see further once we get it on the truck exactly what I'm talking about. First things first, let's get the bracket kit opened. This is the 3-bracket kit, Peregrine 3-bracket kit. We're gonna have a look what's in that, and that's gonna show us what we need to adapt it to the Prinsu rack. So we've got some hardware, bracket kit, and in this case, we're probably going to use 2 out of the 3 brackets. We're not going to use all 3 of them. So this is the bracket that comes with the 270 5-arm and 6-arm and 180. You can see it's a pretty heavy duty bracket. There's heaps of adjustment there to get nuts and bolts through. In this little baggie that comes in that box is guy ropes and a hardware kit. Now, the hardware kit's designed to be fairly universal because the Prinsu rack uses a T-slot style nut and bolt. We've got to go and get the right nuts and bolts because we already know there isn't anything in this hardware kit, and it's really hard to get a hardware kit that fits all the different types of roof rack. But that has a U-bolt style, or it has an M8 with a 13mm head. Prinsu, we need an M6 nut at the top, so that's not going to fit. So we're going to go and get some of those, and then we're going to show you how to put it together. So the first part is we're going to figure out which way this bracket's going to go onto the rack and where it's going to fit, because that's going to help us get it lined up on the awning itself. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this because it's multi-directional and you have a couple of different slots to put it into. So we're going to try it first, and we're going to do it with the bracket upside down. That's going to sit too close to the roof. We don't really want that. That's going to clear pretty good. So we're going to use this direction, and we're going to need to pick up at least 2 of those slots. Okay, so we're able on the Prinsu rack to actually pick up 1 and 2. So we need at least 4 bolts on this. So we're going to put 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And then we're going to have 1 on the upper 2 holes. So we mount the awning up to the top. So let's go ahead and sit that on our awning now and get it sort of situated. We'll get our nuts and bolts and our hardware into the rack, and then this will all come together pretty easy. Okay, so we've assembled all our hardware. We've decided that we're going to go ahead and use the nuts and bolts that come with the kit for mounting to the awning brackets to the actual awning itself. And we've gone ahead and we've got some M6 carriage bolts with washers and nylock nuts, and they're the parts that are actually going to attach to the Prinsu awning itself. And of course we've got the washers and the lock washers. They're going to attach this piece to this piece. So how we do that is we open up that flap there and you'll find a piece of cardboard. And then inside that, if you can see it, there's a small rubber, little rubber bung, and that's going to pop on out. And we're going to put our bolt, and we're going to slide that in. So we're going to do both of those. Okay, so I've got our bolts in, and we've already decided which way this bracket's going to go. So we decided it's going to go that way. The top of the awning, if we roll it up on its side, we've got the logo up. So that means the tall bracket's going to go to the top. I'm going to just drop those on. Washer, locking washer, and then your nut. Now here's a bit of a secret. Stainless steel bolts especially have a habit of galling up if you use too many power tools. So if you go and hit this with a rattle gun or some sort of impact driver, it's probably a little bit much and it might gall up. So we want to leave this a little bit loose, but we don't want it coming off. So there we go. We can move the bracket side to side as we need to. So we're going to leave that loose. We're going to put the other end on. Then we're going to drop our bolts in, and then we're going to put the awning up on there pretty well in one go. So it should be a pretty easy install. Alrighty. What we want to do in this case is leave the back edge of the awning almost as close to the back edge of the rack as we can, and that's going to allow, again, that arm that goes across the back of the vehicle to not hinder that back door opening. So we want to make sure that this doesn't hit or connect in any way. We want to leave a little bit of free space. So by not tightening everything up means you can be able to adjust it a little bit. Then once you've got it in the spot, tighten them all down, job's done. Okay, so now we've got these lined up, we're going to grab a buddy and we're going to help us just line this up for that last little piece, and we're going to have all our hardware up there ready to go. So you need 4 bolts for washers, and of course a tool to tighten all those up. So get your end 2 all lined up. On the 4Runner, because of the way the Prinsu rack works, we want the back edge of this lined up almost to the end. So leaving these bolts loose at this point in time is going to help you just wiggle it a little bit. It's pretty close. Okay, that's pretty close. So when that opens up, the arm is going to come across and it's not going to foul on our awning. Alright, that's going to be pretty close. They should be pretty good. Okay, so now we've done that bit, you can see I've still left this loose. We're going to open this awning up. We're going to make sure we've got a position that it clears this fairly well before we nip it all up and tighten it down, because there's still a little bit of room for some adjustment just by sliding that back and forth. Okay, so we've gone ahead, we've put the awning on. This arm, the arm that comes across the back, is almost in the perfect spot, but we haven't allowed for the wing because this is a 5th gen 4Runner. If we pop that door open, that clears, but we get to this point and look, that's going to connect to that wing. So we need to slide the awning out to the left about another, maybe 3 inches. It's taken us a couple of goes, but we've adjusted it up that this clears with just 1/4 of an inch free or spare. And you can see now that that clears. It allows full operation of the door, not hitting anything metal. It clears our little wing at the front. It clears the arm at the side. This is a perfect choice for this truck if you want a 270 because of exactly that reason. So that's a Peregrine Pro 275 arm mounted to a 5th gen 4Runner. Lots of choices you've got on this car. There's 3 that worked for it. We picked the one that gave us the best coverage. As you can see, it did take a little bit of adjustment, but we made it work. cleared the back door, gave us heaps of space. Now I'm going to go ahead and pack it up just to show you guys how this thing goes back in the bag, because a lot of people ask us, how do you pack it away? So we're going to do that now, and then we're going to wrap it up, drive it on out of here. Far easier to fold up if this bit of material is over the top of these two arms. In other words, we're going to go over the top of that. We're going to make sure our straps are all out of the way and to the back. Then we're going to bring the awning around to the front. Now here's a personal choice. I rather put the zippers up at the back, and then we're going to put the rain flap over the top, and that's going to stop the jiggling about.